Jump Oz with me today. Two very special guests, former three-time Impact Tag Team Champions, three-time IWGP Tag Team Champions, two-time WWE Tag Team Champions. They are the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows, Karl Anderson. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What is up, Paz? It's good to be on the two-man power trip, man. We are excited. We're out here. We're in Los Angeles, California today. Then the news dropped last night. We're New Japan Pro Wrestling bound, and tomorrow night, Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. It's available live on New Japan World. There's still some tickets available at Ticketmaster.com, but more importantly, the Good Brothers reunited with the Young Bucks, taking on this new incarnation of Bullet Club in the War Dogs. We couldn't be more excited. Resurgence is a perfect name for the show because this is truly the resurgence of the Good Brothers. We're in a great headspace. We're physically ready to go. And honestly, just couldn't be more pumped up for it right now.
I'm a four-time IWGP Tag Team champion.
Oh, good correction. Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
My name's Doc Gallows.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, sorry. Sorry. Doc. Yes, Doc. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
no,
absolutely, man.
It's a wild time in pro wrestling right now, and it's like a crazy, freeing, amazing time to be a professional wrestler, and it's like exciting. I'm glad that we're alive during this time.
We keep looking at each other in between these interviews as we knock out this media today and going, don't you feel so free? My God, I feel so free. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is.
Why that feeling though? Why so free? Like what is it about it that's different this time around?
It's just different. It feels like, we were in WWE from 2016 till 2020. Then we signed a contract right away to Impact Wrestling, which thank God they came. They were awesome. They came
great. Yeah, absolutely.
Impacted. Anthem came at us awesomely, but we were locked in right away. So it was 2 years under contract with Impact, and then as soon as that deal was done, we went straight back to
Triple H
WWE.
called us, and we ended up doing that.
And it just feels like it was, we're under contract with someone, not allowed to go do this. Under contract with someone, not allowed to go do that. Under contract with someone, not allowed to go do this. And it's just like now there's nobody stopping me from doing anything.
We can do whatever we want. And, New Japan's a priority, but they're in tune with it. And we're going to go all over the world and show up all these different places. Just like the hats say, show me the light. We're going to show you the light, the wrestling world, the light, that it's not just the corporate wrestling, man. There are alternatives. There's niche stuff all over the world. And we want to do all of it. And the inbox is just completely full. So we're going to go do all of it. And we're going to bring everybody along with us. It's going to be a great time.
What's great, though, I see the video. It comes out. Seems like a different version of the Good Brothers. It seems like, you guys are maybe cleansing, the wrestling world, if you will. It definitely seems like a different version, right? Am I crazy, or we're getting a whole new version?
You're 100% accurate. You got the message, man. I mean, you see us sitting here repented with our white on and the cross around my neck, Good Brother. That's what it's all about. We're here to show the light.
Yeah, I think, kids growing up, and if talking on a real note, kids growing up, especially our generation, wanted to be in the WWE. Like that's their only goal. And sometimes I talk to kids that are, 23, 24, 25. They say like, I want to be in WWE. I want to be in WWE. How do I get there? And I go, well, why don't you try going here first? Why don't you go to a wrestling school in, Cincinnati first and just learn and make sure you love this stuff before you just get signed up there. Because, that's a path that, if you learn to love it, you can grow through the business, and maybe you get there, but you love it so much at that point that now you're ready to rock and roll, and you're going to be able to be successful. I think
and do really well.
A lot of it now is like, I think we want to show everyone the light that, we have been all over. We've been to Impact. We've been to WWE. We did AEW. We did New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've been the Noah Tag Team Champion. I mean, I've done everything there. It's just we want to show people the light now that there's still so much out there, and there's still so much for the Good Brothers to accomplish.
Doc, looking at this, right? New vision, but going back to New Japan, where you guys, I mean, you made a name for yourself everywhere, but I mean, really, really made a name for yourself. How important was New Japan in this, this freeing of the Good Brothers? It
was, I've said this maybe even here, but I've been saying it all day as we do media. Like the name of the show being Resurgence couldn't be better, because it truly is a resurgence for us. And when we looked at the way the situation laid out, you know, people ask us questions like it's a negative. It was not a negative. Like, yes, he was hurt. Yes, we got released. We had felt so stagnant. We were talking all the time, like, how do we get out of this? What do we do? So the way that it ended up and the way that the dates lined up, because we both got on the phone and said, we have to go to Japan. We have to work in Japan. We have to be in New Japan one way or another. And our 90 days ends May the 8th. And in Los Angeles, in Ontario, California, which is a 100% Good Brother town, you'll be able to hear that tomorrow night, I'm sure. It lined up perfectly. One day after the 90 days is up, there's a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view in California. There's an opportunity for us to come in, to reunite with the Young Bucks, to fight this new shit-talking version of the Bullet Club, the War Dogs that remind us so much of us when we were starting out and forming the thing. It just couldn't have come together more perfectly. So I think that ultimately we're super thankful for that and probably more motivated and clear-headed than we've ever been.
You know, New Japan Pro Wrestling is, it's so special to me. They were the first company that gave me a shot. And in 2008, they brought me in on a 3-month contract. And then after my first match with Kanimoto in Nagoya, Japan, they offered me a 1-year contract. And then, a 1-year contract was another year contract, then a 2-year contract. And, I've kept great relationships with them through these 8 years, or through the 8 years that I was there. And now it's, 9 years since we left, which is really kind of mind boggling. The way it's flipped like that. But, they watched me grow up in the business. They've stayed in touch. They've stayed in touch watching our progress when we left, and then with the never open weight championship situation, that was all part of the game anyway. And so It was all so much fun. That was all fun to go with. And so, New Japan Pro Wrestling right now is obviously our priority. And they've always been so open with allowing us to do anything else we want.
Anything else that we wanted. That's where the freedom comes in. We keep talking about freeing in these interviews, but it's like, it's a true sense of real freedom, and then having them as a number one priority and going and doing all the rest of this stuff. I mean, there's just so much out there. That's what Show Me the Light is all about, is just exposing the world to the rest of it, man. And I think that it's all a positive.
When you look at it, right, with New Japan, the Bullet Club, got to mention, the Bullet Club, you basically started and it blew up like crazy. You guys are talking about now a takeover. A lot of NWO, Bullet Club, that was never an issue with those guys, huh? As far as just Hall and Nash and you guys being the Bullet Club and doing the 2-Suite, that was never an issue, huh?
No, it never was. I mean, Kevin Nash, he basically passed the torch to us. I mean, it wasn't a huge stage where he did it, but I remember we were doing a Global Force Wrestling show for our friend Jeff Jarrett, and Big Sexy came out and threw the 2-Suite up, and always looked up to those guys. Obviously, we think the Outsiders are cool as hell. We patterned ourselves a little bit after them, obviously, but they were cool with it, and Big Kev said, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery. But now it's been going so long now, we think we created the 2-Suite, and we're basically in the middle of deciding whether we kill it tomorrow night in Ontario. So
and I think anyone that knows us, all jokes or gimmicks aside, like we respect the past of the pro wrestling business, and we respect the guys that paved the way for us, and we look up to them, and we appreciate them for giving us for paving this opportunity for us to be able to come in and do what we do. So, and I think they realized that when we were doing that in Japan and throwing the 2-Suite up and just throwing the click symbol, it's all just out of the fact that we grew up watching guys and respecting guys, and it was all completely built out of respect, right? And so I think they realized that pretty quick, especially upon meeting us, and that's why there was never an issue with it.
To me, and I might be crazy on this, but wrestling in 2012, 13, 14, like that era, it's getting kind of boring. It was getting a little stale, let's be honest. The Bullet Club comes out, that awesome logo comes out. You guys changing the game not only in Japan, but I would see, I go to concerts. You're going to Rob Zombie, you see people wearing Bullet Club shirts. You're going to these random concerts, country concerts. Somebody's wearing a Bullet Club hat or something. You're like, wow, this is crazy. What did you guys think at that point? Because you're not only changing the game for Japan, making completely different run-ins and guys interfering in matches, which was awesome, and the crowd went nuts and ate it up. But also here in the States, when people just really took to it, was like, man, so many people had Bullet Club shirts. It was like NWO back in the day. Everyone's buying your shirts and merch.
Yeah, it was a pop culture thing, man. And it still is. And you still see those shirts when you turn on any form of wrestling television now. But I remember we were all in the dojo lifting weights and eating Chonko, and somebody had WrestleMania on a laptop that first year that Bullet Club, had come out of the gate, and we're looking at it and we go, holy shit, look at all those Bullet Club shirts. And that was kind of like, okay, I mean, it's over and it's all the way over. And then it just continued to grow and explode from there.
I think it was a testament too to the, social media and the internet pay-per-views, because I still remember I was in New Japan Pro Wrestling 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. There were no internet pay-per-views. I think you could watch it however you could watch it. There was ways to watch it, sure. But then I think New Japan World finally put something out in October of 2012, I believe. And that was like the first big one that they got to see. So, 2013, the Bullet Club forms. And so people are able to get their eyes on what we were doing over there. And I think they turned it on and they just saw guys that looked like they were friends,
having fun.
They were having fun. They were telling people to fuck off. And it was like, it just all clicked and it all worked. And then, we ended up bringing it to WWE in 2016 and the rest is history, right?
Yep.
Do you know, like, when it's happening that you're kind of changing the game, like you're changing the business? Do you know that, like, when it was happening, or you don't realize it until after and you kind of like looking back at it?
I like to think that we thought we were, but because I remember one time we kept doing the Too Sweet, right? Just because we loved to do it. We were having so much fun doing it. No one's telling us we can't do it. And It's like, let's just do it. And Prince Devitt stopped me and he goes, do you think we look like Marks? Do you think we look like Marks doing this? And I said, Ferg, who gives a fuck? And he goes, oh, good point. And so that was kind of where, that was where it was. It was like, there was nobody grabbing us and saying, you can't do this. And I think that's where the freedom thing, it comes back to us now. It's like, we were able to do what we wanted, which is, I think, what helped explode Bullet Club into what it was,
Man, it's just amazing to kind of look back and think of a faction of gaijins, if you will, American guys or guys that are making such a difference in Japan. But not only that, it makes its way over the States and it takes over the States. It's just, I love going back and thinking about that, and hopefully it can, start again, if you will, resurrect it again.
Absolutely, man.
It's time to show people the light. I mean, that's really what it is. It's like we said, people want to go into people want to be in the WWE. They want to be in the WWE. Well, this is a very different WWE now, right? Like it's very corporate. It's very different. There's no more live events. Like, that's what we love to do. It's that's not, and I'm not shit talking them. It's just different. It's just different.
It's different. It's corporate now, and everything has to make that change. But like, we saw such changes over that 2-year period when we were there. And like I said, I mean, we felt so stagnant, obviously, but like it turned into not necessarily the dream that you used to dream when you saw how much it had changed. And that's not a negative thing, because when you talk about how big WWE is now and what it's done for the exposure to what professional wrestling is and how much of a crossover there is, that's a beautiful thing. But people need to know and understand that there are alternatives. There's all kinds of forms of professional wrestling all over the world. It's on every continent now. I made a joke on Twitter 6 months, a year ago, and I said the only place we've never wrestled is Antarctica because they don't have it there. And I had a Twitter mention 10 minutes later and said, we do have wrestling in Antarctica, and here's who we are. And I said, well, shit, isn't that great?
No, bring the boys.
I mean? Bring the boys. We'll be there. You know what I'm saying? But like that's what we're doing. We're going to go everywhere. We're going to be in Japan. We're going to be in Europe. We're going to be in Puerto Rico. We're going to Africa. We're going to do all of it, man. And we're going to bring the cameras along this time and show everybody. That's what's beautiful about, you're walking around with a smartphone. You got a computer in your hand, and we're bringing the Talking Shop YouTube, and we're going to show everybody, man. And it's very exciting.
Do you think that the corporate structure, WWE, the way it is now, is kind of not the way to go? Because like you said, there's really not that any live events like there used to be. I mean, hardly any, really.
I mean, I guess for them, they have their system, and their system will work, and they have NXT. It's just different than the way that we came up when you're, especially, I mean, even when you're coming up in WWE, when you're on the road working 4 or 5 nights a week, it becomes very second nature to you, and there's a comfortability with that. And it takes years of having that. And it's like, a lot of people have said to us, like, you guys are going back to New Japan, like, you don't want to do those tours anymore. Well, like, yeah, it's hard to be away from home, but we enjoyed wrestling every night. And that's when you feel like you're at your best. And I hope for the future of the business, and I'm sure that they have a plan in place for this, that the lack of getting out there to work in front of a live crowd doesn't end up hurting the product years down the road.
Right. You agree too, Carl?
Yeah. So I think, obviously they're the leader in the industry at what they've done for so many years, right? And so they obviously know how to evolve, and so they have a plan, I'm sure, that they believe is going to work, and
Sure.
and how could I go against it, right? So
right.
I just know that, you know, when I came up, I started on the independent scene. I was wrestling 4 times a week, you know, for, you know, maybe $20 total of the 4 shows. But I know that taught me that I loved this, and I probably would, and I did it for 8 years before I ever got paid anything. And I think that's a lot of times, I really believe that if you can get that ground foundation under you, you learn to love this business. And I think that helps you morph into what you can do and start making some, you know, real.
Yeah, I mean, how many guys, you know, you're a wrestling fan and so are we, but I mean, over the last 25 years especially, like, how many times did you see somebody pop up on TV and they had a 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5-year run, and then they were kind of out of the business? A lot of guys, you know, when I signed when I was 20 years old or whatever, you know, by the time I was 25, they weren't wrestlers anymore. We used to go through the programs and count how many guys from the year before were gone. And then, you know, you might see them pop up at a signing here and there, but like essentially they drifted out of the business. But I think that if you come up with it with a passion and you love it and you're not just thrown into it, then that's what creates, you know, career professional wrestlers. And I think that's something that, you know, nobody can take that from us. That's what we are.
And there's so much out there now, right? And like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Tony Khan comes in and changes the whole entire game. And like, thank God for them, right? They truly ignited
they need to be thanked.
Yeah, thanks big time, right? And then, you know, so thank you to them for that.
Absolutely.
TNA is still rocking hard. You know, Anthem, is it Anthem that owns
Anthem,
it?
yeah, but we always root for that. Even when we were in WWE, you have to root for that, because you have to, if you love the business, you're rooting for the business essentially. And that's always kind of been our mindset. And that's why we've always wanted to be everywhere and touch all facets of it.
I don't even know how did we get on this tangent?
I don't know.
I love it.
I think the question.
But AEW, that's still on the table. Would you go back to AEW?
I think AEW is always on the table. We're friends with everybody there still. I think people thought AEW was off the table in 2020, and then, you know, in Daly's place, we showed up. We had a reunion with, you know, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks with 1 million viewers going off the air. So I mean, there's, you know, and it shocked the world again.
Right.
I think it's always on the table. You know, that hopefully I can't wait for it. You know, I actually believe that'll probably happen. And you know, right now our focus is on New Japan, and that's where we're at. But you can't count us out of it. I can say this. You can't count. I can't even. I can barely. Yeah, I can barely say it because I say things and people are like, "Oh, he's full of shit." But then when I say stuff, then it happens, and they're like, "Oh, well, he was telling us."
He
I'm
was
like,
actually telling the truth.
I'm trying. Yeah, like I can't say.
Guys,
I can't
we're
say
repentant.
anymore.
We're not as big of liars as you think that we are.
Yeah,
can't be anymore, right?
We're working half the. I mean, people don't half the shit we say. Sometimes we're just joking, and then it turns into you know, all this insane shit.
You're only allowed to go back and explain yourself if you're a certain person in the media, but we'll leave that where it's at. Huh?
Or we're just
yes. So as far as Young Bucks are concerned, obviously you guys will be teaming with them, but will it be just New Japan, or you're open to teaming up with them other places as well? Like, you guys are open to like a full takeover with the Bucks?
We're open to take over the world, baby. And being with the Bucks, you know, we talk to the Bucks every single day. The 4 of us are in a group chat. They're 2 of our best friends in the entire industry. And we're all just looking forward to being together in the same arena, in the same ring, on the same team tomorrow night. There's no reason we can't take it all over the world.
Carl, you're in step with that?
No, 100%. They've, you know, I wrestled the Young Bucks the first time in 2006 out here in Los Angeles. Wow. And I remember somebody asked me, like, do you think the Young Bucks are ready for PWG? They asked me if the Young Bucks were ready, if they were ready for PWG. I had just started PWG in 2000. I think I did December of 2006 was my first PWG, I believe. right around mid 2007. I don't want to make sure my dates are right, but wherever it was, one of the owners of PWG go, "You think the Bucks are ready for PWG?" And I was like, "Yes, yes,
clearly,
100%." Then of course they did, and they were, they were what they were there. I remember seeing the Young Bucks the first time, and I was like, "Dude, these kids are
they're incredible.
They're unreal." I mean, and look at the business change. And when they came to the Bullet Club, like, just us sitting on a New Japan bus and sitting in a Japanese restaurant and just bullshitting ideas. I mean, Gallows and the Bucks used to talk about there being a new promotion to rival AEW, and I would think
WWE. I would stay it on the bus. I can't wait until WCW comes back, boys. We can't wait. And then the Bucks, they loved it. And you know what they did? They created the damn thing, and now it's a real viable option, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and they went and did it. So I mean, it's like, it's just big props to them. And yeah, and they're them doing this with us for New Japan Pro Wrestling is not something they didn't have to do. They didn't have to do
it at all. They wanted to do it.
Yeah,
that's what's really fun about it. I mean, it was a no-brainer almost. Like, hell yeah, we want to do that. Let's do it.
To me, also, and we talk about Bucks, but going back to AJ Styles, because I got to mention him. I feel like when he joined the Bullet Club, that's when it really took off. He beat Okada for the title. I mean, he's IWGP World Champion. Really took off. Talk about your relationship with the AJ through the years.
The faction just continued to roll on. Like, everybody thought when Prince Devitt left to become Finn Balor, like, oh no, what's happening now? Well, in steps AJ Styles. And by that time, Gallows and Anderson are running hot. And then after that, you see Kenny Omega come in. But I mean, AJ Styles is I think he's a gift to any promotion that is lucky enough to get their hands on him, whether it be WWE, New Japan. I mean, hell, he was the backbone of TNA for all those years before. And then when he needed a home, and New Japan was there, and the Bullet Club was really starting to rumble, boom, explodes on the scene there. And you have to think, if it wasn't for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Bullet Club, would AJ have ascended to the heights that he did? He certainly 100% had the talent for it, but it was like almost a new form of exposure. Like, shit, here's a new version of this guy, and yes, he is the best in-ring wrestler. And I think that it took Vince McMahon and WWE going, what are they doing over there? Oh, wow. Well, let's see. And then I don't think they were sold all the way on him until he came in. And then he had that chip on his shoulder, and he showed everybody. And that's why he's still rocking today. And so are we. Well, very different forms, but it's just the way it moves on.
Yeah, I think AJ, he was in a weird place with just leaving TNA, and he wasn't going to WWE. What was he going to do? And if you go back into 2014, I believe it was in Ryogoku Sumo Hall, he took his hoodie off, right, and took his jacket off, and he didn't get that big of a reaction. And people that might surprise people now. It's just because people in that arena didn't know who he was.
They didn't see TNA,
and I know that might shock people now.
So it was like a restart for him, and then.
But
6 months later,
you got to understand though, people didn't know who AJ Styles was. Right. So him got a little reaction. It's like, oh, there's a new guy Jin now in the ring with a Bullet Club shirt. Who is that? Right. Then of course they start looking it up. They figure it out. He has a couple matches, and it's all of a sudden now he's a legend, and he became a legend in Japan.
Yes.
He became a legend in Japan before he went back to WWE. Yes. So or before he debuted in WWE, he's Bullet Club heated AJ up, and then AJ himself turned himself into a legend over there on his own.
And I remember hearing they were afraid when he debuted at the 16 Royal Rumble. We already knew that we were signed by that point or whatever. And I remember watching it, and I remember hearing them saying that well, Vince doesn't know if he'll get a reaction. And I'm going, well, it is in Orlando. That's where TNA was from. But then when he does the entrance, he got that. I mean, it's the truth. He got that Bullet Club AJ Styles pop, and that's when I think people were like, oh shit, here we go. I mean, so definitely something to it.
Yeah. Did you guys like being part of the Boneyard match, that WrestleMania main event with Undertaker? Did you guys like that, all that filming?
Oh, we legendarily got fired 11 days after. It was an amazing turn of events.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, it was again, that was just as that was such a weird moment in life, which people look back
and moment in time in the pandemic, and then the Good Brothers did the Undertaker's last match. So.
Yeah, no, it was cool, especially at that time. It was one of the first WWE,
cinematic performances,
cinematic matches, and it was cool to be up there with Undertaker. I took Undertaker's last tombstone, so
threw me to my death off a roof.
Yeah. him and AJ had great chemistry. It was fun.
Yeah, that thing was shot really cool. It was gritty, and I remember he busted his elbow knocking the window out of that car, and I mean he bled all night long. And it's a true grizzled veteran. He just kept, they'd stop it for a minute, try to stop the blood flow a little bit, start shooting the fight again. Dirt in it, rocks in it, all that. So it's a tough dude.
That was so cool. It's like an old Western almost. I love old Western.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it reminded me of. Like he's like an old gunfighter. Yeah, he's like John Wayne in The Shootist or something. Right. Like his last gunfight. He's gonna kick everybody's ass.
It was very cool. I mean, he did bust that limo, and you could see like ligaments in his arm, like moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would have shut the thing down. I'm out.
I mean, we joke a lot, but a lot of respect for that. I mean, dude.
Yeah, he wrapped it up and finished the match. I don't even know if you can tell he's got a wrapped arm in it or not. I don't know.
I mean, you couldn't tell because obviously he's not selling the fact that he's bleeding out over what turned out to be like a 7-hour shoot. But
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Jeez,
yeah.
Longer, I think we started there. I think we got there at like 3 or 4 p.m. and then we didn't finish till 5 a.m. 5 6 a.m.
all the way.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot.
It was a lot of fun. It was cool. It was cool to see Undertaker,
man.
To be around Undertaker in a creative environment. Triple H was there. I think Michael Hayes was there.
And then that evolves into the legendary Boner Yard match, which comes,
totally.
after.
Yeah, well, of course. Talking Shop Mania came and just shocked everybody.
Shocked everybody. You have a Boneyard match, you have a Boner Yard match. It's beautiful.
Yes. Are you going to do any more of the quote unquote worst pay-per-views ever? You guys going to do any more of them?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
We have a lot of stuff in the works. We're really busy. It's hard to figure out when to shoot it and how to shoot it, but we've been writing the damn thing since 2022. It
each year gives us more material.
Imitates art. I think that's part of it. We had so much material over the last few years that we would jot down and go, oh, that'll be great in there. So yeah, eventually when we unveil it, I think people will get a big kick out of it.
Got to mention Maple Leaf Pro too. You guys are going to be wrestling with them. Scott D'Amore's great promotion. It's really kicking ass. You guys are good. Little Bullet Club reunion up there as well.
The OG Bullet Club versus the new Bullet Club War Dogs. The feud will continue through the weekend. The historic Maple Leaf Garden, a big famous hockey arena, big famous wrestling arena too. There's still tickets available, very limited basis, and you can watch that one on Triller TV. We'll be on New Japan World tomorrow night, May the 9th, and then on the 10th, we'll be live on Triller. So check out Maple Leaf Pro as well.
Yeah, we're going. We got the big show tomorrow night. We're red eyeing directly to Toronto, straight to Maple Leaf Gardens. I mean, it's right back to the grind.
And
it's exciting,
Yeah, you guys are all the way back in it. You guys are old school style.
All the way back in.
We love it, man.
Yeah, it feels good. Back in time for Mother's Day to be home with the family, and then we were right back to his promotion the next weekend.
Friday, we're running our Lariato Pro promotion in Jackson, Georgia, a little fundraiser for the town, and then we roll on to Wrestle Jam in North Georgia the following night. So we're excited about all of it, man.
Awesome. Anybody you guys want to wrestle, like tag team wise, that you haven't or that you're looking to wrestle again?
Oh man, that's such an open-ended question. There's a lot of great up-and-coming teams that we don't have a lot of exposure to now. But now that when we saw the option open, I was able to get in a great headspace and start watching a lot more wrestling. And I think there's just a ton of untapped talent out there, and that's part of showing you the light. Is we're going to go and we're going to fight all these guys. We're going to show people how good they are and how healthy that professional wrestling everywhere is right now, and will continue to be. We hope.
We had an unreleased match with FTR in Tokyo. We did it in Ryogoku,
a house show match,
5 years ago, and it was one of my favorite matches that will probably never see the light of day and video wise or whatever. But I mean, we had the place. I mean, getting chills now thinking about it. The crowd.
We'd love to wrestle FTR. I'd just say outside of WWE, I think that would be very cool. And getting to be with the Young Bucks again is exciting. And it's exciting to see what the War Dogs have to offer. I mean, they're talking a lot of shit, which is great. You have to. So let's see if they can back it up. I mean, I had a good time watching the House of Torture Bullet Club versus the War Dogs Bullet Club. They just had that dog pound steel cage match in Japan at Wrestling Dantaku, and that was a violent, bloody affair. And, I mean, they went 20, 30 minutes. It was fun to watch. There was a lot of it was a little bit gruesome, but we get down that way. I loved it.
So we hit the wind down here, head towards the finish. Give us one last, wind up here of where everybody can find you, follow you, social media, otherwise, and of course, where they could see you as well.
Well, our favorite thing is our Patreon right
Yes.
now. Our patreon.com/talk and shop. Like we